Yeah, hi peeps, it's Tersse. Talking about the recent sort of death in the household of Tersse, the Blade Runner. Personally myself, I don't believe it was a mistake that he mistook his girlfriend for an intruder. I mean, he might have had prosthetic legs, and he might have been in bed without his prosthetics on, but surely he could have called out and says, "Who's that?" And I'm sure he would have recognised his girlfriend's voice. I don't see how he could possibly find himself waking up out of sleep with a gun in his hand and shoot at someone entering his room. That's ludicrous. So he obviously, if he heard someone in the house, would have been awake. He would have to get his gun, and surely he didn't lie there silently waiting for someone to walk into the room, knowing that it could have been his girlfriend. I'm sure she's got a key. Surely that crossed his mind. Yeah, it might be an intruder, but I should make certain. Surely he called out. Surely he warned them, if you enter the house, I'll fucking shoot you. Isn't that the sort of thing that anybody would do, And there's this question of neighbours saying there and police saying that there has been calls to the house for spousal abuse, basically. They were, according to all the testimony, they were having marital or relationship problems. What those problems were, well, we can't and probably will never find out, you know what I mean? But certainly weren't, as far as I'm concerned, weren't so drastic that he should shoot her 4 times and kill her, At least that's the reports I've had. She died of 4 bullet wounds. I find it inane and stupid for people to go, oh, he was a hero of the running track and he went through so much in his life, therefore we can't possibly see this guy doing that to a woman. The reports are that there were several incidences of abuse in the household. He and his girlfriend had fought several times. There had been reported with screaming fights in the house earlier that day between him and his girlfriend. The fact that he would rise up in his bed with a gun and shoot the first person to walk into his bedroom, if that's what happened, I don't know what happened, but did he have his legs on when he shot her? Why, if he's claiming he thought it was an intruder, why couldn't he have called out, identify yourself or I'll shoot you, you know what I mean, and find out it was his girlfriend? No, I think there's just far too much evidence here to say that I believe that he was an abusive boyfriend. I believe that he has grown up with difficulties in his life. They may have contributed to it. She may have been abusive towards him and found his lack of lower legs to be a way of digging at him and getting at him, to rile him up, thinking, hurt him emotionally, never thinking that he would become so violent as to kill her. And it could have been a terrible tragedy that some people find themselves in their lives. People who start off loving each other often fall into using hateful speech and actions to get back at each other. And if you've got guns in the house, this can often be the result of that, and that's the way I see it. I don't think he planned to kill her, but I do think that through the emotional height of the moment of the perhaps argument, verbal battle they had, he did take a gun and shoot her. I think he did do it. I think he killed her. He maybe is sorry for it now. he maybe wasn't in his right mind at the time when he did it because of, say, her hateful speech towards him, if that's what happened, and his inability to deal with someone who loves him, try to hurt him so much emotionally. I think it's something down those roads that happened, and it is a tragedy, but I still find him guilty. I find him guilty of being unable to control his emotions. I find him guilty of being unable to finish a relationship, perhaps, which was on the rocks and basically dead because of his emotional attachment to her. And she may have been unable to finish the relationship as well through similar reasons. But it's led to her death. I think he was the cause of it. And I think he's at least guilty of manslaughter, if not culpable homicide. But that's just my view on the things. And I don't give him any benefit of, feeling bad for him and, feeling that he should be given any more leeway than any other human being because he's not got any lower legs. That's got nothing to do with it. He's had this problem since he was a child of 4-year-old, He's had plenty of time in his life to get over it, and it shouldn't have been and probably maybe isn't anything to do with it. But I do believe that there's something going on there between them that was love turned to hate. But as we know, as human beings, if any are normal human beings like me, these relationships are very hard to break off, even when the love does turn to hate, even when the love does turn to one or both in a relationship showing great animosity and hatred toward each other at times of high emotional drama, which anybody who's lived and been through several relationships realise it happens between people. It happens. But it doesn't mean that you've got the right to murder the person that you're going through that with. The best thing is to finish the relationship. There could have been some financial disputes going on as well. When you introduce money into emotional problems, it can often raise those emotional problems above just the emotional problems. The idea of the unfairness of someone claiming some of your financial benefits, you know what I mean? When, they might even turn around and say, well, I only got off with you because you're rich, you know what I mean? And I'm going to screw you for every penny I can get. That sort of thing could basically aggravate the circumstances. I'm not saying these other things, but I'm just pointing out there is all that that is probably some of it, if not all of it, is something to do with what went on in that household, and perhaps more things than I could even bring up. Cheating, perhaps, with friends of his, him cheating with friends of hers, all that is all probably in the mix as well, somewhere down the road, as it usually is with stars of the track and field, sportsmen, their wives, girlfriends. So yeah, there's a lot involved here, but I do believe that he shot and killed her in a peak of anger, or perhaps even a minute of madness. But that doesn't say that he's not culpable and shouldn't be held responsible for it. That's where I am at the moment anyway, until further information comes out. I hardly find any sense in going down the roads of she was trying to kill him and he struggled with him, took the gun off and killed her. It may be his defence. I probably think the verbal sort of defence that's been proposed and put forward by some people that he mistook her for an invader into the house is ridiculous. As I said, it doesn't take more than a second or two to call out and say, who are you, and get a reply before you shoot someone, before they've even entered the room you're in. You can call through the house and people can hear you through walls, and you can hear them. So there's absolutely no need to go down that road if he mistook her for an invader to the house, especially when there's no sign of any break-in, so no breaking glass sounds, no rummaging sounds, people going through stuff thinking nobody's in the house and then him coming out and shooting them. No sign of that, no report of any of that. So yeah, I think it's a clear either domestic abuse or a domestic argument that ended up very, very badly for both of them. I'm sorry about that, but that is the way I see it. It's on you, Glenn.